One is, we do have a sitting commissioner with us today, so we like to be a little sensitive to a couple of things. Sunshine law being one of them. So there may be questions that come up, and I'm sure the audience will have questions. There may be some that Jen may or may not be able to answer. For instance, if there's a quasi-judicial proceeding pending in front of the city, she cannot comment on it because it's supposed to be quasi-judicial, it's supposed to be within the confines of what she hears. Gosh, Jen always tells me what to do. Any vote that may be coming up is also not supposed to be talked about, not supposed to advocate about, but advocacy also applies to one special thing, which is there's a rule about governments advocating on constitutional amendments and pending referendums. And as we all know, there's a property referendum, you might have heard about it, coming up in November. I suspect there may be a question about that today. If she gives you kind of a mealy-mouthed answer, it's not because she doesn't want to answer, it's because she can't. How'd I do, Jen? Excellent. All right. Gosh, it's the little things that get you. All right. We're good. All right, so you guys all have bios on your tables. It's a very interesting group. It's also a very large group, so we're going to have to go fairly quickly. About 30 minutes from now, if you have questions, come on up. I'll remind you. But the first question is just going to be a general priority question. We'll start with John, kind of work our way over to Rob. Also, I have to disclose, because I've gotten some very forward emails from you people asking me if I've donated to all these candidates. And the answer is yes. You people have forced me to give money to all 5 of these candidates. So this emceeing today has cost me thousands of dollars. So I want to thank all you people who emailed me about that. But they're, in fact, I needed Yet money as I got here today. So Yet, you need a website. All right, John, we're going to start with your 3 top priorities over the next 2 years, but we're going to have a catch on it. To the extent that there are budget shortfalls, what would you cut to make your priorities a reality?
Well, thank you all, and thank everybody for being here today. This is really quite a crowd. My top 3 priorities are going to be clean and safe, making sure that our community, the downtown as well as our neighborhoods, as I go on my walking tours and as I talk to everybody around town, everybody complains about the condition of the city, both the neighborhoods as well as the downtown. So we're going to put a significant emphasis on keeping the city clean and safe and fixing some of the issues that we have. When you look at the sidewalks, they're broken up and not safe. And our downtown was recently described by one of the downtown improvement district members as embarrassingly dirty. So we need to fix that. One of the issues that has just recently come up has been paid parking and how that is expanding throughout the city. We need to take a serious look at that and see if there are some alternate ways of sourcing the funding for the replacement of the elevators in the garage and so forth. And then the last thing that I really think that we need to work on, and this is a cultural issue. We've had an issue at the city for some time where everybody tells me that they're not being heard by our commission and by our staff. And that really is a cultural problem that we have, that the commission is the one that sets the basis for staff to listen to the community, and then the commission establishes the policy for staff then to implement. And it's been backwards for some time. We've had a lot of initiatives presented to the city commission that have not been originated by the community, but by staff themselves. And so by abdicating that responsibility, the commission to the staff, it ends up changing the form of government that we have from a commission base that sets a policy to staff that sets a policy.
Excellent. And what would you give up if you had to give something up to make those 3 things a reality? Pause.
Yes. So I think that when business is looking at any kind of situation when they're having a shortfall, and this would be a shortfall that you're trying to save money, you've got to look internally at all the different departments. when the parking issue first came up last week, the first comment from the parking director was not, I looked internally for some cost savings, but these are my two options that I'm going to pass the cost on to the constituency. And we need to look into, internally, to all of our departments and look for our cost savings there.
Jen, top 3 items, and what would you give up to make them happen?
Yes, thank you. Thank you all for being here, and I also wanted to thank Tiger Bay and thank my fellow candidates for being here as well. My top 3 priorities are our budget is the first one, and we have to fill our reserves. We spent our reserves on the 3 hurricanes that we had, and they are currently too low. So my first priority is restoring our budget. We are in budget season right now. We got our budget book yesterday, and we are going to be having our 2 budget meetings, which I hope you all attend. They're really a lot of fun and very interesting. But that's the thing, is that when we have a commission meeting, people come out to talk about all sorts of topics, but when we have our budget meeting, nobody is there. And that's when we decide how we're going to spend your money. So I do hope to see some of your faces there in the audience. It's July 27th and 28th. So budget is my first priority. My second priority is stormwater. Again, we had horrible flooding throughout the entire city, and we are working very closely with the county commissioners. As I look over there, our county commissioner, and they have been supporting the city and working well. Our staff are working also with the county staff to try to upgrade and solve our stormwater issues. And the third one is the community's voice, restoring it in the development process. As we continue to grow and develop, we need to have the citizen voice in that conversation. And so those are the 3 items that I would focus on.
What would you give up to make them happen?
Well, the budget, right now, we learned how to trim the budget during COVID, and we learned to do it last year as well. We cut our budget by $2 million. And right now, we're going through that exercise right now. So we are going through department by department, asking our staff, please, wherever you can find efficiencies, let's do it. And so we are going through that process right now. I wouldn't say we would have to cut an entire department or, do without one specific thing.
One person. Anyone volunteer to quit while you're doing that, by the way? Just like
Well, we
say,
do have a
"Yeah,
hiring freeze, by the way. So I don't think we call it a freeze, I think we call it something else.
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah, welcome to Tiger Bay. We're glad you're here. What are
It
your
is
top?
indeed Yevgeny Khodorkovsky. I'm the longest name on the ballot, so you can't miss me. And thank you for having me for my first ever candidate forum. So 3 priorities, right? The first one was already mentioned, infrastructure, whether it's storm recovery or being able to push a stroller on a sidewalk other than downtown. And that's been a thing for a while now. It's the staff doing their best, but it's still, we're prioritizing other things and basic civic services. The second one, and I think that's the main one, representation. I feel like the focus of the city commission slowly shifting away from serving residents and small businesses to running really cool toy projects and requiring expansion. And the third one is indeed the budget, and we already have a hiring freeze. I was going to talk about it, but we have to spend smart. Like, we're rolling out technology that's not providing us the value added or the savings that it should. We're winning, smart city awards and so on, but there's a big disconnect between the commission and the people actually implementing it. So we can't really strategically prioritize it and roll it out in an acceptable manner. And I am an engineer, a software engineer. I've been doing this for 20 years. So I see a lot of ways we can improve that. And we might not even need to cut spending. We might be able to scale our staff to be able to do these things on their own. For example, we don't want to spend hundreds of thousands on studies and surveys that we can just analyze data we already have. And yeah, so that's a win-win. The staff becomes more competitive in the job market. We get more value out of our existing staff. So that's a big one that I'm gonna push for. And I am probably the only person running or in seat that understands technology. So I think that's a big point for me.
What would you cut if you had to, Jeff?
Do we have to cut?
That's an answer. Flo, You're up.
Thank you, Morgan. Thank you, Tiger Bay. Thank you to my fellow candidates. Thank you for giving us this time today. So we know budget's the first one, and I'm going to take that off my list because this current commission will be handling that before we get in. So one of my top priorities and one of the main reasons I'm running is to give the residents back their voice, as everybody else has said. I've been showing up at City Hall for over a decade speaking on local issues, and I don't think our voice is being heard. So I'm running to give you a voice back at the City Hall, to listen to you, learn from you, and to stand up for you. Your priorities will be my priorities. The second thing, being a part of CCNA for many years, Coalition of City Neighborhood Associations, for those of you who don't know what that is, every organized neighborhood can join, and we meet once a month and we talk about local issues. And the biggest issue every month is neighborhood safety and quality of life issues. And downtown is a neighborhood. So that would be one of my main priorities, because like I said, every neighborhood complains about that. Overdevelopment and a lack of affordable housing, true workforce housing. We've given too much away. We've given bonus densities away to developers for affordable housing that isn't affordable housing. 120% annual median income is targeting somebody or supplement somebody making close to 6 figures. And to me, that isn't our workforce. We need to be targeting 80 AMI and lower. And then those would be the 3 items. And as far as cutting, I think, again, they're going to be doing that already, line item by line item. I think we're going to have to really tighten our belt. And then, as John said, the parking issue. It's been going on for over 80 years, and I think it's about time we figure out and get it right. So that's where I think we can do some cutting back, as far as maybe going back to free parking versus paid parking.
Well, heard some applause back there. Since I got $100 worth of tickets downtown last week, I'm all for it.
Me too.
Yeah, that's help. You're welcome, Jim. Probably.
Thank you, Morgan. Thank you, everyone from Tiger Bay, for being here today, and my fellow candidates. My top 3 priorities, if I get elected, first and foremost, is definitely housing for workers. And if we can house the workers we have in the city, we'll cut back on traffic, because you'll have less cars on the road for longer. And you'll also have a more vibrant foot traffic through downtown and elsewhere in the city. Number 2, something that really has to happen is resilient infrastructure, and not resiliency of spirit, physical resiliency. We've seen what could happen when you put in resilient infrastructure before a storm comes. The Bay, Selby Gardens, they have massive stormwater vaults that took in a lot of water, cleaned it, put it back in the bay, but it also made coming back from these storms really easy. So we need to think about that for the entire city, first and foremost thing on the circle. And thirdly, the reason why I actually decided to run for city commission is to support the arts and culture organizations in this town. Time Magazine just had them as the main reason we are the #1 city in their travel issue. It's not Time Magazine, CNN last week said Sarasota is #1, and the #1 reason they gave was arts and culture. So we need to support them. We can't allow arts and culture organizations to leave the city. We can't also let them take 5 years to do a project that should take 2 years because of denials at the commission. So we need a commission that's going to support them and support why people are coming here and staying here. Now, for cutting budget, the thing I would say is I think the city needs to keep an eye on not starting projects, spending a ton of money, and then canceling them, like the Bobby Jones project. We spent $676,000 of taxpayer money to just put together architectural plans, and then we scrapped the project, and now we're going back and we're building a small one. Stuff like that. We went through the process of looking for a new city manager, and I'm actually very happy with the new city manager, but we spent money to do it once and then cancel that. So we need to really look at everything we do, and an efficiency of government will make sure we don't need to cut.
Okay, Rob, we're going to stay with you and work back the other way. So I say this every time, but you guys are really good about emailing me stuff. Here are all the emails I've gotten from you guys. One common theme that came up at least 3 or 4 times was your view of the Performing Arts Center issue generally, the agreement that is currently proposed for that, and really just kind of how we can get that forward. What are your views on it? And we'll start with you and come back to you, John.
That is an excellent question. And what I feel about
I didn't come up with it actually, so it's the thing.
The Performing Arts Center will be the cornerstone of the Bay project. It's the jewel on top. And it is something that we need to compete with the other cities that are close by. St. Pete's building new performing arts centers. Tampa's building a new performing arts center, 4,000 seat performing arts center. And what has to happen for this project, which I am 100% behind, is the city has to sign the contract so they can start raising money. They will not raise the money they need if the city doesn't say yes. So the city has to say yes. And then the price, $255 million, it sounds like a lot, but it is a cornerstone, like I said, and the foundation can raise that money. And I understand that there'll be cuts if the homestead exemption gets through, but that'll be like 7% of what was originally gonna be from the cities. And I know the city signed a contract that they would pay half, but I think the Performing Arts Center could raise almost all the money on their own, the foundation. So I think all we need to do is give them the chance to move forward. We have one of the most philanthropic communities in this country, and they've proven it with the projects that are being built.
All right, Flo.
I love the arts. My husband works for a well-known nonprofit theater in town for over a decade. We support many local arts, and that's what separates our city from most other cities, our arts and culture. I'm very happy we're saving Van Wezel, our purple icon, our history, and I think it would be great to have a new performing arts center. The problem is the money. As we've been talking about the budget, the reserves are at 10%, they usually sit between 20 and 25%, so we have to take care of the budget. So what I have to do is I have to weigh passion and fiscal responsibility. At this point, we know the county is not going to be giving us their part of the TIP money. I think the city's TIP estimates are probably a little high because the housing market is starting to soften. And we do have the property taxes. The good thing is it's not a full elimination, but we will probably getting some reduction because the last time it was on the ballot in 2018, it was a different amendment, but it missed by 2%. So right now, it's sitting at 70% approval. So the money is where my concern is. And the path forward that I see is the foundation raising the money like every other nonprofit does in our city, Selby, Moe, the orchestra. So let the foundation raise the money, let the city supply the parking garage at $60+ million to the taxpayers like we always said we would. And we can give them land to build it on, and let's get it built. What I will not support is an increase in taxes and a decrease in services for our residents. So let's let the foundation do their job. We have to rewrite the contract because it is a 50-50 contract right now. And maybe it's something we should make this an enterprise fund so it doesn't end up on the taxpayers' backs. So let's get it going, but let's not put it on the taxpayers' backs. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I love the arts. I paint. I love the gourmet art we have in Sarasota. It's awesome. I'm so happy at WSLR saving the bikes. And at the same time, the city should not be a developer. We have to focus on fundamental services. Now you want to put a 5,000 or 2,500 people building and compete with Tampa. We are not Tampa. The charm of Sarasota is in Sarasota. The One Basil should be renovated. We should put, if you're gonna put this new art performance center, put it on 75, so Tampa can come here. Because you wanna put 5,000 more cars on the road? This is crazy.
You got Dan Levesque, stand up. Jen.
Well, I'm going to enter the Who Loves the Arts Most competition. Because I also, of course, like you all, love the arts and value them. They are an economic driver in our city, and they do make us special. It's what helped establish us as a city and differentiates us from all the other beach cities in Florida. I can also differentiate myself to say that I'm probably the only one at this table who has artist in her resume, because I am a graphic artist. My husband is a classical musician. We started a nonprofit arts organization, and in my business, 80% of my clients are nonprofit arts or small businesses. So there's the, I love the arts speech. I am also looking at two fellow commissioners sitting right over there. And I'm going to have a difficult time answering this question because the partnership agreement will come back to the city commission for a vote. So I'm feeling cautious about answering the question.
Okay, you don't want to go to jail?
I do not.
You don't love the city enough to go to jail for it? Come on. John?
So, just like all my fellow candidates, I am a strong supporter of the arts. The arts are an integral part of our community. My biggest concern from day one when we heard this was how are we going to fund it? And unfortunately, that's what a lot of our decisions in government whittle down to. So the city has been an active participant at this point. They provided about $1 million initially for some of the initial plans for it. They provided a beautiful site, a very expensive site, and they created the TIF. Now, we do have some issues with the TIF in that the county has decided that they are not going to participate with their 50% of the TIF dollars, but there are 4 conditions or so that I think that the county would like to have resolved, and I think that's incumbent upon the foundation to get those resolved. But my biggest concern would be that one, the city should not be a developer. It is a very complicated, difficult business. They've already proved with the first 3 properties that they jump into a pool that they shouldn't be swimming in. But we would love to have that performing arts hall. And if the foundation can raise the money that some of the other arts organizations around town, the Florida Studio Theaters, Moat, all the other organizations that have raised tremendous amounts of money, and I think it would be a wonderful asset for our community. It clearly is an economic driver. It clearly does help us out. Van Wezel is a wonderful historic piece of property and a wonderful historic building, but it's got its issues. It's low on it's at low grade. It's got some ADA issues. So having a new performing arts hall taking us into the next century would be a wonderful thing to do. Again, the key is funding it, and I don't want to put that burden back on the taxpayers.
Excellent. So the next round, Jim, we'll start with you, and we'll kind of go the other way in with John on this one. Kind of a specific question. What's your view of the current development review process, and what would you change?
Thank you for that question. This is a really important issue, making sure that the resident voice is part of the development process. Currently, the way we have it, I'm not a big fan at all of administrative-only approval. When you have a project and you put in an application, it must go through staff review. That's a given. You want to have our professional city staff look at each piece of the project to make sure, you know, the solid waste truck can turn around and the fire truck can get there, that the roads have capacity, that the water has, the pipes have capacity, and we have engineering look at it, all the different departments look at it. But nowhere in that process is the citizen, neighborhood, community voice a part of that process. So at CCNA and other neighborhood groups, we've been talking about how we can add in the neighborhood voice, this resident voice, to be part of that conversation. Because right now you often have the developer or the applicant and the city staff. And the third voice should be the citizen. It's a 3-legged stool. And when the conversation is only happening between 2, it's not a well-informed and well-rounded conversation. So we've been talking about how we can add in meaningful neighborhood input to the development review process. And I think it begins at DRC. I think our city staff would appreciate it, and I also think that the developer would appreciate having that input up front. It's free consulting for them to know what issues are specific to that location. So that's where I would start with that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I agree with everything Judge has said.
Great,
At
well-
the same time,
I agree too.
again, one of my major issues I'm running on is representation. At the same time, we should do things that every other city does. We should like put a big 6x8 red sign. Shit's gonna be built here. Okay? And we need to
This is a family event.
but we also need to reach people that are not involved in the community. So we have to modify our maybe approach to media outreach, because Flow has been doing a great job with the neighborhood associations, but all in it's like 1,000 people. There's 60,000 people in this city. We need some way to reach people, switch to push mode, to push things out before they happen, and involve people as much as possible. And it's your job to get involved as much as possible as well. So, thank you.
Flo?
Well, I agree with both of them. And as far as administrative approval goes, I do not like that because it's taking our voice out of the process. So there is a simple fix to that. We can rewrite the definition of administrative approval to include our voices back in. So that's something I will look into once I become your commissioner. The other thing is the DRC process that Jen was talking about. I think we could do better with compatibility there, because it's supposed to be part of the process, and I don't think we do a good job of that. As you look around, you can see we've been overgrown, lot line to lot line, taller than I think we should be in certain locations. So, and as far as that goes, the compatibility, I think we need to make sure we quantify it, so city staff knows what we need, and so the developers know what we need, so no games can be played with loopholes there. So it's all about putting you guys back in the process. And when we work together, we always get a better project. So again, here to listen to you, learn from you, stand up for you, and let's make our city better, growing with quality of life for all to enjoy in the future. Thank you.
Rob?
Yeah, I agree. Of course, the people in the neighborhoods should have input on any project, especially the ones that are close to where they're living. And I think a lot of that is what was being said, that the participation level is kind of low here. The people who are here mostly are people who are participating anyway. The CCNA group, they're the ones participating. But it's a small amount of people. And it is going to be about outreach. It's going to be about communication. And on top of that, now we're playing with new rules. We have Live Local, we have SB 180, so we kind of are a little backed into a corner on what can be done and how much more we could demand from people who want to put up buildings. But if we do work together, and we have great, different, diverse neighborhoods, unique, and we have a lot of talent in this city, and it shows because of the organizations that are here and the people who frequent them. And if we all work together, we will be the best city in Florida.
John?
So, administrative approval was put in back in the 2002 or so, and it was really something that Andres Swami wanted us to do. And the idea behind that was that if a code was written that was very clear and that the landowners, developers in the neighborhoods all knew what that code was going to deliver, then it should go through the process. It should go just through the staff process. Unfortunately, what has happened over time is that our code has been amended to the point where we see situations like the Obsidian on Palm Avenue, where the developer thought that he met the code, but then there were some hardships that he had. And the code now has a provision in there for if a developer has a hardship, and one of his hardships could be that the lot is irregularly shaped, or that he doesn't back up to an alley. Now, this is something that the neighbors never ever hear about, but what his solution for that is to write what the hardship is, write his solution, deliver that then to the city manager, and then one unelected official gets to make the decision as to whether that's acceptable or not. That should definitely go back to the city commission. So one of the other things that I think would really help the process, instead of waiting till the DRC, when a developer is planning for a project, then he has an initial meeting with the neighborhood groups, a neighborhood workshop. And then he can, at that meeting, he can talk about the issues that are important to the neighborhoods, the height, the uses, the ingress, egress, all of those kind of things that are really more important. The neighbors are less concerned about how the electric is going to come into the building and how the stormwater vault is going to be placed, but they do care about how the trash is going to be taken care of, where the loading zone is, and all those other functional aspects of it. And if he presents that to the neighborhood first before he gets to the DRC, if there are any changes that the neighbors come up and say, hey, why don't you change the ingress egress from this location to this location, and the developer says, yeah, that's a good idea, he can do that before he's gotten on down the road in the process, and we eliminate some of the friction. The other thing that I would add for that is that at the neighborhood meetings, we have neighborhood meetings now, and they're voluntary, and a city staff person sits at that neighborhood meeting. That staff person needs to be kind of a neighborhood advocate, so the staff person there understands a site plan and can explain some of the nuances of it to the neighborhood. I had one lady tell me, look, now I've got to go to these neighborhood meetings and I've got to learn how to read blueprints. So a solution for that would be to have a staff person there. So we do need to have, and this is not going to cost the developers too much money. In fact, I think I agree with Jen that at the end of the day, we're going to have better development. We're going to have people that are more engaged. You're going to have the neighbors that know what's going on, and they're going to be able to see if there's an issue up front before the developer gets to DRC.
Thanks. You're welcome. Any Tiger Bay member is welcome to come up and ask a question. Just to say your name if you're a Tiger Bay member. If you're a student, you are a Tiger Bay member for today, so you can ask a question as well. I don't actually know all the Tiger Bay members, so if you want to come up and lie about it, you can do that too. But Kim will know. All right, while they're gathering, I'm going to ask, this is almost a lightning round. Flo, we're going to start with you, come this way and in with you, Rob. Is parking, paid or free? Go.
Free.
You can do it.
So parking should be free for residents at the very least, but it should be free, John.
Jen, this is when you can vote, right? So,
Yes.
all right, you get a pass. Joe.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to fund the parking, and I would be an advocate for free parking if we can make it work.
What I can say, can I say something?
Oh, you want to have your cake and eat it too?
At the Monday's commission meeting, we did bring up the topic of parking, and we did agree as a commission that we were going to bring it out back in a workshop format to discuss it, to really look at the parking department and efficiencies, things we could do with best practices. So,
Great, thanks. Rob?
Yes, free parking. Government infrastructure is where government should be spending the time and money, and that supports the city, especially small businesses and the people who live here are free.
All right, and here we go. State your name and your question.
Ron Skipper, Tiger Bay member. A lot of discussion about budgets, a lot of discussion about traffic congestion. The biggest waste of money, in my opinion, that I know of, is Ringling Boulevard. We had 2 lanes going each way, and now we only have 1 lane going each way because we have a bicycle lane. Do you ever see any bicyclists on that lane? No, you don't. And we're wasting all that money. So I'm going to ask the only incumbent, did you vote for that project? And if so, why?
yes, I did vote for it, and I voted for it because it's a connection between the Legacy Trail, which we know is not only a nice amenity for our community, but it is also an economic generator, and it connects the Legacy Trail to our downtown. And we wanted a safe way for bikers to come into our downtown so they can spend money dining and eating and shopping in our downtown.
Well, next time you're downtown, folks, look and see if you see any bicyclists on that road that's now 2 lanes instead of 4.
Mr. Lopez.
Thank you, Morgan. I'll try to keep this succinct because it's a complex issue.
You won.
The previous question tails right into mine. On Monday, August 3rd, nobody knows about this, the City Commission will hold a public hearing and vote on a complete rewrite of the city's transportation chapter of the comprehensive plan being pushed by staff. The same staff that wants road diets on major roads throughout the city. And what it would do is repeal concurrency and other limits on developers' traffic. There's a provision that encourages the consideration of expanding paid parking throughout the city, and all kinds of other things to make it difficult to drive and park, which is part of being able to drive, because staff has this philosophy for decades to make it difficult to drive, to force us out of our cars, to walk, bike, and take buses that get caught in traffic too, everywhere we want to go. It's insanity. So number one, and you can comment on this, Commissioner, this has been noticed as a public meeting, so you can't evade questions on that basis. It's not quasi-judicial. Do you favor this insanity, number one? And number two, it's August 2nd, in the dead of summer, the time that's appropriate for this public hearing and this important vote. There'll be another vote, maybe in September, maybe October, but this is a biggie, and it's being slipped through by staff. Is that appropriate, or should this be defeated on that basis alone? Thank you.
How about it?
I
think it was to you, right?
Okay, I can go first on that one. I can comment on the timing of it. Mr. Levick, I believe we are meeting next week about this. But I did read it, I've read everything, have it. And the timing of it, it's been going through the process for about a year and a half. And it's just the process that the city has. You know, you introduce things, you have the shreds, you have the meetings, and this is where it falls, you know, in the timing. You know, summer's not the best, but we have no control over that. We did postpone it though, from the first meeting in July. I did make that request, and so now it is in August. But I'm not going to comment about whether I'm going to support the vote or not. I see someone here who had a sunshine violation for a very, or accused of a sunshine violation. Was not a fun thing to go through, so I will not comment on how I'm going to vote on it. I can't do that.
But quickly, because we got a pretty good line. Does anyone else want to comment about the rewrite of the transportation
Sure.
chapter that's being mentioned? Yeah.
I said sure.
We'll go first.
Thank you. So, we all live in Sarasota, we know it's hot, we know rain comes out of everywhere. We're not getting out of our cars. It's nice to cycle here and there, it's nice to walk, it's nice to be recreational, but the bottom line is we have to drive to get to most places. And as far as the transportation chapter goes, we did postpone it a month, and I thought that was a little ridiculous. We just got a new city manager. Let her get her feet on the ground, let her get educated, let her run the city. Let her do her job. And if we're doing this right now, I mean, she said at the last commission meeting, the month she's been here, she had over 200 meetings. So we need to give her time to get her feet on the ground and bring, I think it should be postponed at least 6 months. And bring
Yeah,
it back.
quickly, because we do have a pretty good line.
Real quick, so I lived in San Francisco for about 10 years. It takes an hour to go 5 miles. We don't want to be San Francisco, we don't want to be Tampa. We want to preserve accessibility for handicapped, older people. We cannot do it, and we definitely should not do it in August.
So we really need to be careful when we start talking about changing our transportation rules, and this is particularly, I think, for development. And whenever we bring something to the public in the summertime, that's what I hear out there. People say, we don't know what's going on. We don't hear, what the commission is going to be voting on, and then our voice is then not heard, and that really needs to be looked at. So if this needs to be delayed so that we can get more community input, the better.
Commissioner.
Jake Bishop, Tiger Bay member.
Rob, you want it?
Sure. I agree, anything in the summer, anything that is done in the summer is to keep it low key so not everyone hears about it. So I think it should definitely be delayed. As far as the changing of the transportation code, we do have people here who need to drive. They're not gonna bike, they're not gonna walk. But on that hand, we need people who can walk to be able to get places safely. We were just number 15 in the country as one of the most unsafe places for pedestrians and bicyclists. So we have to work on, I don't know if it's a campaign of information and getting out, people letting them know, hey, you have people with bikes coming, and it's also people on bikes who don't follow the rules of the law of the road, which they're supposed to, and then you have people walking out in the middle of the traffic. So I think, one, yes, we should not have a vote on it in August, because most people aren't here until at least school starts, and August 3rd, before school starts, I think.
Thank you. DJ Bishop, Tiger Bay member. We are proud in Longboat Key that we have an ongoing fabulous relationship with the city of Sarasota. And one of the reasons is the incumbents, some of them have extensive board and committee experience before they joined the Sarasota Commission. What experience do all of you have on boards or committees serving the city of Sarasota before you ran for office?
Yeah, here's the next step, and we'll go kind of in the loop back to Flo, Rob, John.
So this experience is definitely important, and Jen has been around for a while, and she's done some amazing things, and that I love that she did. At the same time, the typical commissioner pipeline is not producing the results, and is getting more and more detached from the will of the residents, and frankly, the economy, the population growth. So I really think that we need somebody in the commission that really understands how things work underneath. So how technology works, how construction works, how everything we direct the staff to do actually works, because we have to know how to steer the ship, so to speak.
So as I mentioned earlier, I've been showing up at City Hall for over a decade, speaking at commission meetings, planning board meetings, park and recs meetings, historic preservation, public arts committee, charter review committee, and I'm sure there are a few that I'm forgetting. So I've been very active at City Hall for over a decade. I'm also the president of my neighborhood association. I've been very active in my neighborhood for many years. I also had to recently resign from the Coalition of City Neighborhood Associations because I'm running. And I care deeply about our community. And again, I don't think our voice is being heard. So after all those years of showing up, I think it's time to give a voice back to the citizens. So a vote for me on August 18th will be a vote for you at City Hall.
Thanks, Rob.
I haven't mentioned this yet since I've been running, but the only board I served on here was the School Advisory Council at Southside for 3 years. And because I'm not running for the school board, I haven't mentioned, but that's what I've been doing, and just advocating for the arts and culture organizations in our city.
John.
Yeah, so if you truly care about your community, it is a pleasure to serve, to give back with your time, treasure, and talent. And I've been fortunate enough to serve on many nonprofit boards. I was chairman of Girls Incorporated for 3 years, chairman of Pines Inc. For 3 years. I sat on the ballet board. I was on the environmentally sensitive lands board. I can go on with the boards. I did a lot of work with I was chairman of the CRA advisory board with the city. So in those roles, not only are you working with budgets for those different organizations, but you're also working with your other board members, and you learn how to work within that structure. And so you're dealing with some very difficult issues sometimes, but you're able to reach consensus with your fellow board members. And that's a key component to working on the city commission, is to be able to work with your other commissioners, because we're 1 vote out of 5. And it's not, we would all like to say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, but you've got to get at least 2 other commissioners to work with you on that. So being a part of the community and being on all the different boards that I've sat on has just been invaluable, and just a wonderful gift that I can give to the community.
Yeah, so before I was on the commission, I was my neighborhood's representative, and I represented my neighborhood to the Coalition of City Neighborhood Associations, to Bayfront 2020, to SOS Save Our Tree Canopy, and to the North Trail Redevelopment Partnership that we just actually reformed and got back together as a commissioner. And being on the city commission, I am fortunate enough to have the support of the other commissioners. We all sort of rotate serving on boards in our community. And currently, I serve on the Sarasota Bay Estuary Program. I'm on the Metropolitan Planning Organization. I'm the City of Sarasota's liaison to the Housing Authority. I serve on the Florida League of Cities State Policy Board. I'm currently the vice chair of that. I'm also on the Florida League of City Advocacy Committee. I'm on the Florida League of Cities Fast Fly-In, which is the federal action strike team. I'm on the Minnesota League of Cities. I'm the Florida League of Cities representative to the Florida Urban Forestry Council, and there are others that I'm on. But a lot of that has to do with the my own commission, allowing me to represent our city and our community at these neighborhood, regional, state, and federal level. So I thank my commission for that. It's a wonderful opportunity.
Gigi Silverberg, member of Tiger Bay. I'd like each of the commission candidates to answer this. As Sarasota continues to grow, many city decisions involve multiple departments: transportation, parking, economic development, public safety, and planning. Do you believe our current commission structure provides enough unified leadership, or is it time to consider an elected mayor who can coordinate city priorities and be accountable to the public? Why or why not? If you don't support an elected mayor, what changes would you make to improve the coordination and accountability under the current system?
Do you realize we went 1 hour before the elected mayor issue came up? This is like, gotta be a new world record. John, we're gonna start with you and go to Rob.
Sure. That's a topic that comes up a lot in discussions around town. Full disclosure, I was very active in an elected mayor initiative back in the 90s, and we worked really hard on it, and we raised a lot of money. And we had the idea was that you would have an executive that would lay out a vision for the city and would lay out his or her platform, and then would be elected. And after 4 years, you could decide whether that person fulfilled those promises. We got killed. We got killed like 72% or something like that. And then there was a subsequent one that came out later, and I think it was just as bad as that. So the community spoke loud and clear. While we look at communities around the country that do have elected mayors, and some of them are run very well, some of them not so well. So if there is a community initiative for an elected mayor, then we'll seriously look at it. But as a commissioner, I'm not going to push it.
Jim. Yep.
I am not in support of an elected mayor for the city of Sarasota. We are a medium-sized city, and 85% of medium-sized cities are city manager form of government. We just received our 80th year of functioning award for functioning as a city manager form of government. And our city manager form of government allows professional staff to do the professional job, and we, as your elected representatives, work very hard to represent you and your voice at the city commission table, and that happens via collaboration. So sometimes we have, split votes, 3-2 or 4-1. Most of our votes, though, that you don't hear about are 5-0. A lot of our votes are 5-0. I think this commission, and it's the entire time I've been on the commission, we can have hearty discussions and debates. But at the end of the day, it is collaboration that makes things happen. So I do not support a strong mayor form of government for the city of Sarasota.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I actually watched a video from like 2002 in Granicus that also discussed this issue. So you probably heard all the arguments for or against, but I don't think we're there that we need it. I think it removes a layer of representation because, majority or like tyranny of the minority, basically. So I don't think we're there yet, and I think we can talk about it in like 20 years.
I'll put on the counter. Flo.
It's been on the ballot, I think, 6 times, and it's always been voted down. So the residents do not want it. I do not want it. Right now, our commission manager form of government, you have 5 commissioners. If we're being run by a mayor, we have one person to speak to. Now we have 5 people, 5 years, 5 people to hear our voices. So again, the residents do not want it. It's been voted down every time it's put on the ballot. I don't agree with it. I like the form we have now. As Jen said, we just got an award at the Monday commission meeting for 80 years of this style of government. So I definitely support this.
Excellent. Technically, it's 10 years, but okay. Rob.
Yeah, I think at the moment.
Wait a minute. No one left. Okay. Thank you.
At the moment, we have a brand new city manager, and I think we need to give her a chance to do her job. And I think she's gonna do a good job. And the system we have right now, yeah, it has a lot of bumps along the way, and a lot of people aren't happy on all sides here from how it's being run. But if in the future, if it gets on a referendum and people vote for it, I think it could work. You'll still have a city council, but I'm not gonna push it.
Unanimity, I like it. Yes, sir, come up, say your name, say where you're from too.
I'm Julian Atkins, I'm a Booker High student. And as a forewarning, I am just a high school student, so please excuse me if the question is obvious. However, this is directed towards everyone, more specifically Flo, but everyone can answer. It seems like most of you are campaigning on listening to the community and bringing people's voice into decision-making and developing. But how exactly is this going to happen? How are you going to capture the people's voice?
Great.
It was a good question. Yes.
Yeah.
So, yes, I am running on bringing our voice back to City Hall. And there's a few ways we can do that. I'm already doing that as far as a candidate, and I did that as part of CCNA. The easiest way is to go to the neighborhood meetings, ground level, grassroots level, and literally hear what they have to say. The other thing that I think we could do right now when we do have commission meetings, we have 3 minutes to speak, and it's a one-way conversation. So I would suggest when I'm your commissioner to have quarterly town hall meetings where we can have a two-way dialogue. And then the other thing as far as communication, I think that city staff can maybe do better with communicating with the neighborhoods about development projects that happen in single-family neighborhoods. We get notified for large development projects, but not something happening next door. And I know that's not bringing necessarily people's voice in, but it's letting them know what's happening. So I think grassroots, showing up at the neighborhood meetings, which some commissioners do and some commissioners do not, to really know what's happening and to be their voice because you are on their level, hearing what their issues are.
All right,
Thank
we'll
you for
go-
that question.
Sorry, I didn't interrupt. Sorry, and we'll go around, Rob, to, yeah, but let's keep it brief because we got one more and we gotta get people back to work.
Communication with everyone in the city is kind of difficult because more than half the city works during the day and commission meetings are during the day, and the neighborhood association meetings are at night, but they're right after people get home. I think we need a process where our ears as commissioners are open to everyone. And I've spoken to people in the neighborhood association meetings, but I also speak to all the business owners. I speak to the people who are working at all the organizations we have. I speak to all the volunteers, because we have tons of volunteers in this city too. And it's important to get everyone's voice out there. Unfortunately, people don't get out and vote. So the people who vote are the people who you're hearing their voices anyway. So I think a big push would be make sure people are aware of what they're voting for and to get out and vote. But it's have your ears open for anyone who wants to talk to you. Don't shun anybody. Everyone has a good idea. John?
Yeah, so it's not so much, I don't think that they're not listening, they're just not hearing. And that has one perfect example. Do you all know what happened on September 5th, 2023? That was the day that the City Commission voted 5-0 for the density bonus for all of downtown. All of downtown.
It was
5-0, I just watched the tape. And one of the members of the public came up at the open to the public and said, look, I don't like this, but if you are going to pass it, at least put a sunset on it. And all 3 of our previous density bonuses for downtown all had sunsets on them. Staff didn't present the sunset, and none of the commissioners heard him say you should put a sunset on it. So really the issue is, do we have commissioners there that actually hear what you're saying? That citizen gave a great idea. The sunset just means that you have a time to look at it. And if it's not something that works, then you can throw it out, or you can amend it, or you can continue it, whatever. But not to put a sunset on it was a horrible, horrible thing for our city. That was the day that every multifamily developer around the country popped champagne and sent their researchers to Sarasota to find sites.
Jen?
And I will jump off of that. I did not vote for that, by the way. It was a 4-to-1 vote. But what that did, more than anything else, was it expanded the administrative-only approval process. So in addition to the density bonus and reduced parking, it also took your voice away even more, expanding that use.
You can review the tape on September 5th, 2023, and you can see the 5-0 vote at the end. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So definitely listen to the residents because that's been like, the main issue I'm running, really. At the same time, we have to revamp the communication strategy. Like these the association meetings and listening, and I've been to Jen's office a few times. It doesn't reach anybody under 35, and under 35 is the fastest growing sector of the population. So we really need to switch to a push, more media, more social, more technology, because you're not going to reach anybody like this.
All right, quick one. We'll let you guys get out of here.
Dick Cooley, I've been a Tiger Bay member for decades. I cannot let Ron Skipper go unchallenged. I have rode Ringling Boulevard bike trails.
There you go.
I live at Plymouth Harbor, and I go to Legacy Trail using the bike trails to get to the Legacy Trail. And you have to understand why the bike trails are there. They are to encourage people to ride bikes. Because a lot of the wastelands in here will tell you, we need bikes. We need to ride more bikes, guys. And that's why we put bike lanes in. In other words, my question to the commissioners are, would you support bike lanes on all future infrastructure development? Any road should have a bike lane.
Let's try to keep it yes or no, and you need to invite Ron to go biking. Go.
Yes.
We do analyze the roads for what has the capacity to put bike lanes on. But in general, yes, of course, this commission supports bike lanes and protected bike lanes and sharrows and that. Yes, it's part of our code. And so
That's a yes. Yes.
I bike all the time. I hate the Ringling bike lanes. We have to have some kind of representative group of bikers that will tell you what they need and where they need it. That's the only way to go.
Interesting. Flo.
As a triathlete biking 100 miles on Sundays, I know how unsafe our roads are, so.
What a flex that was. All right. Way to go, Flo. Like 100 miles on Sunday. What did
yes.
you do?
More bike lanes.
Protected only bike lanes. Some of these bike lanes are right on the road, and we've had accidents with people.
Excellent. I'm going to let you guys go, but I do want to say one thing. First of all, you guys get along really well, and it's really nice to see. Second of all, anyone who runs for office is a winner already. We need more people like you.